I pray the peace of the Lord that transcends all understanding be with you and guide your heart in all situations. Today's message is from Matthew chapter 15, and if you read from 1 to 14, the whole chapter will benefit you. It's a beneficiary to always read the scriptures, but I'm going to focus on verse 14 and I'm going to expatiate on with different verses. But what I'll be talking about today is spiritual blindness. And I don't want you to think it only affects unbelievers. No. Majority of people that are in blindness are God's children. Believers, unbelievers, others, it affects everybody. And I'm going to use a physical example. So I don't know if you've seen someone that is literally blind before and ask them how to perceive the world. One of the things you recognize is it's difficult for them to navigate around navigation or have a sense of direction. They always need something. That's why there is a service dogs or there is a cane to guide them so that they don't know mistakenly step or fall, injure themselves. So those are one effect. Another effect is it limits their ability. They can't do a lot of stuff because of the condition of blindness. And it can be medical reason. Glaucoma can lead to blindness. Medical diabetes can diabetic can lead to blindness. Multiple different medical issues, and it's also something they have to financial consequences as well. But that's not what I want to talk about. I just want to let you know multiple different things can lead to blindness physically. Now, what about spiritual blindness? What does that look like, and how does it affect human life? And you read Matthew chapter 15, it talks about some of the Pharisees and the scribe, which is the Sadducees, from Jerusalem came to Jesus and said, "Why do your disciples violate the tradition, which is a religious law, handed down by the Jewish elders? For the disciples did not ceremonially wash their hands before they eat." And he replied, Why also do you violate the commandment of God for the sake of tradition handed down by the elders? For God said through Moses, "Honor your father and mother," and he will speak evil of or insult. That means he will speak evil of or insult or treat improperly mother or father is to be put to death. That's the law. And verse 5, but you says, if anyone said to his father or mother, whatever which is monetary or money or resource that you're supposed to use to help them, I would have helped you, is already dedicated to giving to God. So these resources, this money that I'm supposed to use to help my elderly one, is dedicated to God. Verse 6, is it not to honor his father and mother by helping them in their time of need? So by this you invalidate the word of the Lord, depriving it for its force and authority, making it have no effect for the sake of tradition and done by the elders. You hypocrite. And rightly, and it goes further, and I will jump to verse 14. 12 is saying when the disciple came and said he didn't like them, the scribe and the Sadducees don't like when Jesus talked like that. 14 said, leave them alone. They are blind, guided, blind leading blind followers. If a blind man lead a blind man, both will fall into a pit. That's the scriptures. I want you to take your time to read it and allow God to help you to navigate which area of your life spiritual blindness is affecting. Relationship, jobs, health, because our spiritual being affect all aspects of our being, no matter how you want to slice it. One of the things you realize is spiritual blindness is not limited to your way of life. It's actually your being. It affects it. As I was talking about in physical blindness, not only does it limit you, it affects you, finances, resources, pain, and all that stuff. One thing you want to know is if you start having a lot of confusion or hardening of heart when God is talking to you, you might be spiritually blind. God is asking you to surrender something or to pursue a new adventures, to expand your horizon, and you allow fear. Now, there is good fear, there is bad fear. Our emotion, God talks to us through emotion as well. But I want you to understand God has not given us the spirit of fear and timidity. He has given us the spirit of sound mind and sound doctrine and love. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7. But the problem humans are having a lot is in our stubbornness in heart. I was reading some post and someone said a lot of Christians are hurt me more than unbelievers, and I can agree to that because I've experienced my fair share as well. And the sign is people already put tradition above scriptures, culture above scriptures, above the word of the Lord, and they have deprived the effect. That's what Jesus is talking about. Matthew chapter 15, read from verse 1 to verse 14, and you will see it there. So it's very important as an individual to understand where and how is spiritual blindness is affecting me. Where am I blinded to my sin, to my rebellious, to the influence affecting my life? You see a young lady that God is saying, like, don't go near her because she's not in a place or a state that is healthy for a relationship. I'm working on her right now, a young person, male or a female. But your stubbornness lead you into the bum, the ass is so fine, the shape is, and then you are now complaining when the consequence of your stubbornness happened to you, life being destroyed, job not going right, enemy have access to your life. It said this: inability to move by spiritual truth or the felt of conviction is one of the key things of spiritual blindness. When God is talking to you, but you cannot be moved. Or he said, I should read this one. Romans chapter 1. I'll read. Let me read. Romans chapter 1. Yes. Verse 21 to 23. For even though they knew God as the creator, they did not honor him as God or give thanks for his wonderful creation. On the contrary, they became worthless in their thinking, godless and pointless reasoning and silly speculation, and their foolishness heart, the foolish heart, was darkened. So it's very important when you look at the culture and all that stuff. You want to make a new adventures, and God says, like, okay, don't do it right now. Wait, work on your information gathering, work on your financial management, because God will tell you, and work on your ability to communicate. But no, you just want to jump in, and then you are saying like, but God tell me like this, that this, and God is like, but I also tell you to gather all these resources first. So God is constantly expanding our capacity and building us up so that we can live forward up in the location He wants us to be. So, but your brain will claim stuff. Verse 22, claiming to be wise, they become fool. They exchange the glory and the majesty, excellence of immortal God for an image worthless in the shape of mortal and a bird of four-legged creatures and reptile. A lot of time you don't understand that money, it will grow wings and fly. If you constantly chase money, you will lose yourself in the process. If you're chasing human or putting your trust in human, you will lose in every aspect. Those that put their trust in Lord will be put their trust in human will be put to shame and disgrace. Only put your trust in God. Allow God to navigate and direct you. Allow God to be your GPS and your guiding manual, so that you can be in the location that you will be. Like, thank God. He said in Jeremiah, "My thought for you is thought of good and bright future, not evil." So when you find yourself in a state of blindness spiritually, begin to pray that God open your eyes and take away that blindness, so that you can know the aspect of your life that you need repentance, conviction, and deliverance. Because when you are convicted, you will be able to navigate and attack that spot. God bring to your awareness that your anger, your ability to not manage, your inability to manage your anger management is destroying connection. Now it's up to you to now, God have shown me the weakness. Now, God, strengthen me to work on this weakness. And you start reading books. People perish for the lack of knowledge. Information is critical. And he said in Proverbs chapter 4, in everything get understanding. You have to understand the information given to you. So always pray for wisdom, godly knowledge, godly understanding. When you have those three, you will be able to not only examine yourself, you will be able to put yourself in the environment where God, even the enemy, will favor you. Even the people that does not like you will work for your purpose. So I pray that God give us the grace and the ability to understand and see the area, the spot that the enemy is using to attack us, so that we can go to the level that God wants us to go. I pray God give us the strength, the courage to acknowledge where we are being foolish, where our heart is darkened. Because verse 21, the last part, he said, "For their foolish heart was darkened." You don't even try to start worshiping, because one of the things that the enemy will use this blindness as its bondage to sin and destructive pattern. He said in 2 Peter chapter 2, let me read this, let me get it. 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 19. They promise them liberty when they themselves are slave of depravity. For by whatever anyone is defeated and overcome, to that person is philosophy and concept is a continuously enslaved. So if you are defeated by pornography, by alcohol, by wild lifestyle, sexual immorality, you are enslaved by those things. You are enslaved by those things. Read the whole of 2 Peter chapter 2. Read everything, and it will tell you. You will list so many different. Even verse 10, it said, especially those who are indulge in corrupt passions of this sin nature and despise authority, preposterous and reckless, self-willed and arrogant, a creature of the pride of the majesty of God. They do not tremble when they reveal angelic majesty. So I pray that God give us the wisdom to even see the things that is affecting our life, and the courage to acknowledge our weakness, our flaws, so that we can get to the level so we are not being enslaved by the passion of the sin. Because the key agenda of the enemy is, okay, you don't have to, like at this current era, don't worship me. Just despise God. Just don't follow him. Hate God. Don't worship the devil. Just hate God. Do you. Love you. and you realize that the enemy is constantly, he has a tailored agenda for everybody. Now it's up to you to make sure you are not blind to his tactics. I pray God open our eyes and give us the understanding to attack all these issues. And God help us and strengthen us in all aspects. And God give us his grace, abundant mercy in every aspect. For in Jesus' mighty name I prayed. Amen.